Hey traders, Rick here with Hit and Run Candlesticks. Today is Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. Right from the gate here, I want to apologize. I just took to supporting a cold today, so I'll try to curtail the sniffles, and I'll try to shut the mic down before any coughs come out. But I want to apologize ahead of time. Okay, so we're going to talk about the market here. Man, it's been tough. Hey, before I forget, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please head over there. I think it's, you're looking at the screen. It's the bottom right. You'll see a little thing in the corner of the chart. Just give that a click and subscribe if you haven't. Sure would appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks. I saw one. Just click there. No, I'm kidding. I can't see that. But thank you if you have already subscribed. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? We're going to look at some charts. We're going to look at some short charts. But more than anything, really what I want to talk about is having the charts ready for you, a kind of a watch list. But while we're doing this, we're going to look at some short charts, okay? But I feel that as a trader, something that gives me an edge is having these charts already, a list of stocks all ready to go. For instance, today I emailed all members and trial members a list of trades that I liked. Weren't necessarily buys at all, but they were trending in the direction I wanted to trend. I also sent out another list under $10, a separate list under $10, but they were all trending the way I want them to trend. And then when we start to see that price action roll in and those chart patterns, that's when we'll look to trade those. And we'll use an alert system, and this over here is my alert system. These are 2 alert windows. And we're going to talk about the stocks here, and I've just added them to the TC2000 just for simplicity of talking about them and clicking on them. But these are all some shorts here. And I've got two types of short setups here. One is shorting from the 34 EMA, and one is our blue ice failure, which is basically a failure of the 50-period moving average. So let's take a look at these charts. Well, first let me talk about the market real quick, okay? Here's the SPY. We're still holding over the 50-period moving average, but we are clearly in a downtrend. Now it looks to me like we're going to get that 50. I'd be surprised if we didn't get it. Truthfully, I'd be a little surprised if we didn't get a little lower. Anything below the 50-period moving average, any kind of bullish attitude I have is going to go clean out the window, and strictly to the bearish side is what I'm going to look at, as long as we're holding below the 50. Now that'll change. That would change if we actually came way below the 50 and then we started to do some relief rallies. That would change a little bit, and I would look for some relief rally trades. But right now we're going to look at that. The diamonds here, we haven't failed the 34 EMA yet, but I just can't find any love in this chart. So I think at this point what we're going to need to see are those buyers step in. Buyers step in a little bit. I mean, they could do it tomorrow. It's certainly possible. We could end up with some kind of a bullish piercing candle in there. We could end up with some kind of hammer in there. We could certainly do that. But we can't predict that until it actually happens. So we'll just wait patiently until we see that in the charts. Now, IWM today, this was a great trade, by the way. One of the members, it was alerting on our alert system, and one of the members mentioned it here, and I took the trade, so thank you very much. I took the trade. Now, I did close half of it out already today for, I think, close to a 12% profit. And this is a nice little blue ice failure. And this is one of these charts that it certainly could find some sort of a relief rally. It might come down a little further. I would like it to get into this area. And then it certainly might do a little relief rally. But from here, what we're going to shop for is actually a sell signal to come on down. To be bullish, we're going to have to get back up over 220 on this. And then a chart that I'm absolutely pay attention to is FNGU. This is the FANG stock index here, and there is just nothing there's just nothing bullish about this chart, and it's got a lot of work before it can get going. So this is a chart I'm pretty much going to follow, kind of lead in the market, and well, right now it looks a little bearish. So we're going to take advantage of these two alert windows of blue ice failure and the shorting of the 34 EMA. So let's go take a look at some of these charts here that I've got. And you'll see them here, and you'll see them in this list. And they showed up early, not just this. This is just what came up the last part of the day. So let's go take a look at these. Okay, so here's Clack. Clack has been up, and you can see it came below the 50-period moving average. It came up, and it's just sort of failed that 50. It also failed the 34 EMA. We've got a nasty candle here today. One thing it didn't do is it didn't have any follow-through. So I think we should keep an eye on this. But if we start to see weakness on this thing, this just might be a good little short. So we'll be shopping for this for a short. Now, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll use the RBB chart, because what I like to see is, say in the blue ice failure, this is not true on shorting of the 34. However, it is true on my blue ice failure. I like it like this, where we fail the 50 and the target direction is toward the 200 right here. So we're going to shop for weakness on this. We start to see weakness. We just might put a short on. We absolutely have this on our watch list right now, waiting for that short. And the alert system will show us this. What I'll do is I'll end up putting it in my hot stock list, and when I see it failing on that list, then I will go take a look at it and make that final decision if I want to short it. Let's take a look at SNPs. And again, these were all, I pulled these off of these alerts over here. Now this one, this is not a blue ice failure because we're too far from the blue ice, the 50-period moving average. However, this is there it is. It's a 34 EMA failure up here, where we have a low, we rallied up, we have a higher low, we rallied up, and we're failing in here. So what I'm going to watch for is that follow through. Anytime, you certainly don't have to, but I absolutely believe that if we follow the candlesticks, what'll happen is our likelihood of success goes up. So here we have a bearish candle, right? We have a bearish engulf. So what I need to see now is follow through to the downside like this. So I want to see weakness going to the downside here, and that's where I may short this. Now I'm going to show you another place I may short this as well, and that is on an inside day. An inside day. So really, there's two places I'm going to look at. Let's do this. We're going to put our top right here. So underneath this line, if we can see a inside day here, and I don't want to see in my case, I use white and black bars, so I do not want to see a white bar. I want to see a black bar in here. Probably should do it this way then, hadn't I? There we go. How's that right there? I want to see a black bar. Or if I see this start to show weakness and break down through the low, then this just might become a short. Again, pulled off of our alert system. Take a look at XLK. Now, I'm going to stop for a second. And this is where I think it is so important to have a watch list, take these stocks right here. I'm going to put these on its own little watch list because I want to short something. But I want to make sure that it's working in my favor. Now, who's to say one of these stocks aren't going to take off? I don't want to just jump in right now. We don't have any follow through. So I'm going to wait till I see that weakness, and then I'll jump into it. And by the way, weakness to me can be an inside day, absolutely, with a negative candle. Because what happens is now my risk has really been shrunk up. But I'm not opposed to trading this to the downside and getting in down into here. So XLK, we've got a blue ice failure. We're also a failure of the 34 EMA, and this just might be a trade. How about TMO? Now, TMO is one of the 34 failures, not the blue ice failure. It's not the blue ice failure because we're too far from it. So here we are down. We've got some consolidation. And does that chart look bullish? Looks like it's trending to the downside to me. So what I'm going to do is simply look for a short trade on this. Now this one we might put a little line right here. Just kind of right there. Just like that. Anything below that line, I'll look at shorting this. And, well, anything below today's candle here might be a short as well on TMO. The Qs. Look at the Qs, which we just looked at XLK. So the reality is those are the same charts. So again, inside day, weakness, we're going to look to short that. MPWR. Here we are again. This is a good chart pattern, and really all these we've looked at so far pretty much have this, where we're down, we roll up, and then we fail. And this is called a dreaded H pattern. Excuse me. This is called a dreaded H pattern. Now, this is the exact opposite of a bullish J hook. So the reality is here is this really doesn't become the H pattern until it actually breaks down below that low. But as traders, we know we can see these chart patterns developing. So we get in early sometimes. And this is one that I wouldn't be afraid to be in early. And my stop would probably be up at this level. And let's see what this gives me here. Yeah, that gives me 7%. That might be a little high. So we might have to adjust that. That might be a bit much. Now, if we get an inside day tomorrow, well, that what happen is that will drive our risk down. So I'll keep this stop if we get a good buy. In other words, if it rallies up a little bit and we can catch it up here, then that's great. Otherwise, I think I'm going to have to bring it down because I'm just not going to live with a 7% stop. Just not going to happen. Or I'll simply pass on the chart and wait for another one. SMH. I know several people in the trading room today got short SMH. It was alerting here as it started breaking down below yesterday's low. Even yesterday, just the fact we put in a bearish engulf here, shooting star, that would have been a good short to go into right at the close, if not earlier yesterday. And then today, here's our inside day, would have been a terrific entry. And then we have the breakdown, about 233.20 of yesterday's candle would have been a terrific entry. The chart still looks like it's short. We don't want to chase it. We don't want to do that. So I think at the most now, maybe maybe we'll look to get in if it starts breaking down. But truthfully, I think what I would kind of like is price to actually pop up a little bit, give me that inside day, then I can get into that short right in here. Uber may be setting up. Look at that, how we've been up, and see how we just struggle with that 50 period moving average there. Can't get going. Now, it could absolutely have found support here. It could. That we can't predict whether it has or hasn't. I don't see a buy signal in here, so I'm going to go with this as a short. A nice little bounce, that would be awfully nice. Get a nice little bounce in there. Here, we'll even give it a green bar. A nice little bounce in there, and then we'll take the short moving down like that. And Uber has a good chance to make some money, kind of like in this short here, especially after the gap down and we have the follow through. XLNX is another one, making that bearish H pattern here, bearish H pattern like that. So and here we have, we've got a bearish stick, we rally up, a bearish stick right there. When we started breaking down below this low here, that would have been a terrific place to start trading XLNX on weakness. There's nothing wrong waiting for it an inside day, or just as it starts to sell off through today's low would also be a good place. Now, I had asked a question in the room today, how many people don't short? There are people that don't short. And a lot of times they can't do it, their count. I understand that. There's other ways you can trade. You can use an inverse ETF. That works out very well. Also, there are some people that are just uncomfortable shorting. So I think what we're going to do, tomorrow's Thursday, we're definitely going to be talking more about shorting and in the trading room for sure. And because we just might have to get used to it. That just may be the way things are going for a while. Now, I'm not trying to predict the future. I'm just saying we need to be prepared. So we'll be brushing up on shorting a little bit tomorrow and Friday. We'll be doing that. NVDA, look at NVDA here. So here's that bearish H pattern right here. You can see the failure of the 50-period moving average. You can see this chart pattern where we're down, up, and down. There's a chart pattern in the candlestick world called a falling method. And the falling method looks just like this, where you have a down day, and then you have 3 up days. It's called a 3 falling method, I believe. And this is what it looks like right there. Well, that's just what we have right here. Boom, 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 right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a line right here. We're going to use the first candle. We're going to go across. And below this candle, this is where this is an official short through here. So anything below this candle, we'll look at shorting. Now, of course, if we end up with an inside day tomorrow, I'm going to look at that as a short. And I think that would be a good short here. So we're going to be looking at that, the Road to Wealth account. PayPal, this is the last one I have here. And all these, again, as we've gone through these, if you've looked over here, you can see every one of them have been on our alerts that we set up. We even created some alerts in the trading room this morning. And tomorrow I'll go through these again in detail for those that have the scanner, need a little help. We'll get that set up. Maybe we'll create a couple others based on some traders' needs and wants. Take a look at PayPal. Remember that chart pattern I just talked about, that falling method? Yowzer. Can you say falling method here? Nice. For those that are interested, the opposite of that on the bullish side is called a rising method. And it would be this right here, where the stock moves up and then it pulls back. And it's called a rising 3 method with 3 bars in here. Like that right there. There we go. And when we go through this top, that's the official buy time for the candle pattern. But of course, we'll also look for those inside days. So anyway, this is a nice falling method. setting up here, again, that blue ice failure, also failing the 34 EMA, headed to the downside. Okay, look, that's a few trades. I want to leave you with this, though. If we are uncomfortable trading this market, as I am, I don't have to trade. I want to share my thoughts here about this. You know, I don't have to trade if I'm uncomfortable. If I'm uncomfortable with the market, I don't have to. If I feel like I have no edge in the market, I don't have to trade. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm certainly going to tell everybody. Right through here, I didn't have the good sense to get out of this market and sit on my hands. I didn't have that. I wish I did, because I ended up losing a ton of money, and I certainly haven't gotten it back at all. So, this month is going to be the road to wealth account is not going to be positive compared to last month. So this will be our first down month for the year. But I will tell you this. By golly, it will be the last one. That is, man, believe me, will be the last one. So, let me just leave everybody with that little tidbit that I'm just trying to, basically talking to myself, and I'm making a commitment, not to myself, not just to myself, but to everybody out there, that when the market is choppy and you don't have an edge, Rick, don't trade. Alrighty? All right, hope to see everybody in the trading room tomorrow. Check down below. We have got a 30-day trial if you're interested. And remember, please give a click on that subscribe button to our YouTube channel. You guys take care. Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow.